There is an old expression that says, now follow that. Well, I'm not too sure that I can probably do quite the same justice or quite the same expression of loyalty, but I do, first of all, want to thank you on behalf of my wife and I for your very generous hospitality and once again, the immense welcome that we have received. And I'm just so sorry it's taken us 10 years. It wasn't supposed to take 10 years, can I just say that? We have been trying to get back a bit sooner, but it didn't quite happen. But we're here eventually, and what a wonderful, special occasion to be here. I mean, to be able to mark Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, a remarkable and unique milestone in every sense of the word. I mean, it's fascinating being there, part of history, but for the longest reigning monarch, I mean, it has been a remarkable year, and it's just been wonderful seeing that expression that has been generated in so many places. And it was so wonderful to be able to come here, because we both knew that when we came to Gibraltar, we would feel that in even greater sense than we had done in Great Britain. So just thank you for that. And Her Majesty obviously sends her deep regrets that she can't be with you today. I mean, I think the best thing that we could probably do is to find her a really nice ship. And then she could go on a lovely cruise like she did 1953. And she can come back to all these wonderful places that would just give her just the most fantastic welcome. And I know that would be hugely well received. And I just am sorry that she's not here. I mean, and it's so wonderful to be able to come and share, as always, a little bit of and celebrate Gibraltar's own very long and very distinguished history and this wonderful relationship that you've had with Britain. But Gibraltar has had a long and distinguished on its own right as this extraordinary rock, this extraordinary feature that has been here for all those millennia. And as a Chief Minister, I had the opportunity to visit the Northern Defences, which you've just spent a fantastic amount of time clearing out all the rubbish from decades of and revealing all these wonderful defences and the history that has come with them over many hundreds of years, built on top of different things. So being able to remind that, but really, it's the spirit of the community here that touches us every time. And I know that the way that you showed your resilience during the pandemic, and that as a community, you've always pulled together, but you pulled together even more strongly during that time. And as you have done throughout your history at a time of crisis, you know, Gibraltar has definitely pulled together. And you can rightly now celebrate yourselves and what you've achieved in that time and in your own history. I don't know whether it happened here, but I know that there were young people back in Britain who would ask their parents when the pandemic struck, so what did you do the last time this happened? And all the parents had to turn around and say, well, it's never happened. And that is quite extraordinary. I know a lot of young people find that really quite surprising, that actually we've never experienced that scale of pandemic in our lifetimes. So it's been a wonderful moment to be able to reflect. And then, as with any Jubilee, it's a moment to step back and reflect on what has been achieved. And it may only be just 10 years, but oh my gosh, what you have achieved here in those last 10 years is quite extraordinary. And there was a little bit of a hint when we were here explaining what you wanted to do, but we have seen that extraordinary development in change in your landscape, and then change in your educational assets, and change to the facilities that you have, and the sporting facilities and all sorts of other things that have sprung up in the last 10 years. And it's been absolutely and truly amazing, and you are to be congratulated on all of that. And I know that all those bode enormously well for the future. And it's been brilliant talking to so many young people who've been able to enjoy that future that we give. They missed the 50th anniversary of the Duke of Edinburgh's award here on the Rock, but delighted to meet young people who are being given brilliant opportunities and brilliant futures through that particular programme. And thank you for your support and encouraging all of that and increasing those educational opportunities for young people and educational outcomes that aren't just academic, and that give young people confidence and resilience in the future, and those skills that are so valuable. to when it comes into the business and the commercial world, which seems to be thriving here. You seem to have recovered again from the COVID, which is brilliant. But also to see that defence seems to be coming back up the agenda. The ROC is becoming a much more strategic place once again, which is a delight to be able to see. And to be able to finish and to be here in the home of the regiment, but also to see that wonderful, terrific parade. And just to congratulate the regiment. I mean, they did a brilliant job coming to do public duties earlier on this year. It was a great privilege for me to be able to present them with their new colours, but it was even more proud to be able to stand there on the parade today and to see their new colours for the first time at the Queen's birthday parade. And what a parade it was. So well done to all of you. And it's just terrific. And it's just a sign of that ongoing relationship, and the strength of that relationship and the loyalty that you have expressed is abundant. And I wish you all the very great happiness for the future that these celebrations are bringing into the future. And if I may, could I ask you all to stand and rise and to drink a toast to the health and happiness of the people of Gibraltar. The people of Gibraltar. Thank you very much indeed.
It's been an honour which I've shared with every Gibraltarian and resident of Gibraltar. This diverse community has welcomed you both with open arms. But more than that, it has welcomed you, like it welcomed Her Majesty in 1954, with an open heart. For Gibraltar is Her Majesty's most loyal territory, and the Gibraltarians, the Crown's most devoted subjects and ardent admirers. Today, in this magnificent home of the Royal Gibraltar Regiment, we have been served the exact same menu as was served to Her Majesty and the Duke of Edinburgh in 1954, with fresh produce, of course. A small culinary demonstration that our appetite for the British royal family remains undiminished by time. I want to pause for a moment just to thank those who have cooked for us and the staff who have served the meal today. And I want to, of course, thank the regiment and the Command of British Forces for the use of this facility. And I repeat once more, the pride that we all felt when the regiment guarded the royal palaces this spring. Gibraltar's regiment guarding our sovereign and thereby demonstrating the unbreakable sovereignty link between us. Of course, the bastion that we're on, Grand Battery, originally dates from the Moorish period, was built upon in the shorter Spanish period, and was fortified further by Britain. Your Royal Highnesses are quite literally sitting on a small part of the legendary inviolable strength of Gibraltar. That inviolable strength was the first thing to which Her Majesty alluded in her speech after dining on these same delights here on the Rock all those years ago. Faced with recent unprecedented challenges, we have further demonstrated our inviolable strength in facing off each challenge with the help and support of the United Kingdom, not least in the recent supply of life-saving COVID vaccines. In fact, at certain points in the last 2 years, the only regular scheduled international flights that remained in Europe were the BA flights to Gibraltar. And none of those turned back halfway through the English Channel, by the way. The fact is that whether it's on COVID, security, or managing Brexit, Her Majesty's governments in both London and Gibraltar have never worked more closely together than we do today. That is a real reason for celebration also. I know that whilst here, you've visited our northern defences behind us, as well as the slightly more modern facilities at the Tower. These facilities, old and new, illustrate the strategic significance of Gibraltar, which Her Majesty also referred to in her speech in 1954. And in your time with us on the Rock, I know you've experienced all of the best of Gibraltar. not just our food. The fact is that there is no other place like Gibraltar. But perhaps most importantly, you've got up close and personal with thousands of our people. And there are no other people like the Gibraltarians. They are our greatest resource. From the estate at Moorish Castle, also behind us, to the gardens of the convent, you will have met no more loyal subjects of Her Majesty, and no more diverse and multicultural a people. Here in this room, we have gathered a representation of all of us, from all our cultures and all our religions, all our residential areas, and a smattering of our entrepreneurs. Our charities and our representative organizations are all here. And our media, who have worked their keyboards and cameras to the bone to bring the most magnificent images and anecdotes of your visit to our people and to the rest of the world. Our young people from all our schools and our political parties are also here with you. 1,300 Gibraltarian students study in the United Kingdom each year on full scholarships. They further cement our British nature through education and learning. All our parliamentarians are also here, from all parties represented in our Westminster-style democracy. All of Gibraltar is somehow represented here today before you. Because we all, from different walks, avenues, and stations in life, want to showcase our allegiance to the British Crown in celebrating this unprecedented Platinum Jubilee with Her Majesty. May I therefore ask that your Royal Highnesses might report to Her Majesty that the third observation she made about Gibraltar in her after-dinner speech in 1954 remains as true today as it was then. Yes, its inviolable strength. Yes, its strategic significance. But above all else, the undying loyalty of its people, which beats as strong today, if not stronger, than it did in May 1954, when a young queen and her husband came to visit her people and survey her rock for herself. Please thank her also for her kind message on your arrival. Because however multicultural and diverse we may be on everything else, we are entirely one-dimensional in our Britishness and our loyalty to the British Crown. For the Gershwins might have been right about the Rockies. They may one day crumble. But Gibraltar will never tumble in its devotion to Britain, our Queen, and the Crown. Thank you.